Good noon, all of you. I hope I am clearly visible and audible to you. I am Nikita and I welcome you to this session 50 important vocabulary words. This is the part 2 of this session. In part 1 also we learned 50 important vocabulary words through question types such as word meanings, right? We also saw the roots of some of the words. We saw how the options can actually make us learn so many words, right? So whenever we attempt a vocabulary question, our goal should not just be to, let's say, understand what is the correct answer, but also to know the meanings of the other options as well, to learn the meanings of the other options as well, right? So this is what we learned in our previous part 1 of vocabulary for aptitude tests, 50 important words. Welcome you to this session again. Hi Anuja, hello Shubham, hello Om, Krishna, good noon, good noon. All right. So please check your internet connections. Yes, because we are going to be here for a while. Yes. And today the focus is not just on covering 50 vocabulary words with you, it is on covering them through multiple question types. Right. So last time the focus was more on, let's say, learning high frequency words. This time the focus will be additionally on how we can cover as many number of question types as possible. Right. So good afternoon, good noon, all of you again. Rishabh, Vicky, Prashant, Kashish. Hi, Abhiram. So these are the questions, the types of questions that we are going to cover today. Okay, we'll talk about analogy questions. We'll talk about fill in the blanks, synonym antonyms, migratory words, odd word out, one word substitution, and common confusables. Right? So quite a few question types today. Some of these could be new for you in case you are preparing for an entrance for the first time, right? And I will explain what to do in each question. And again, what I've done is for the easy questions, you get 20 seconds. For the moderate questions, we get 30 seconds. And for the difficult ones, you get 40 seconds. Now, these are very few in number, these questions. I think, just 4 to 5. Now, these moderate words themselves, through the options, they are going to teach you many high frequency words. And the easy ones are pretty easy. So this is just to check your speed. Okay, again, there are few questions of this type. Okay, so let's see. We'll begin with analogy. Analogy means a comparison. Okay, when we compare two things in order to, let's say, bring out their similarity or dissimilarity, that is analogy, right? So let's see our first question for the day. There is a timer for 20 seconds. This is an easy question. Let's begin. Yes. Let's start. All of you, fasten your seatbelts and answer this question. Okay. So 20 seconds are up, right? And bird is to aviary. That is the word pair that was given to you, right? So let's see what you say. The first response is of Vicky. Vicky says B. Okay, Krishna says B. All right. Others. Sonali says C. Dharmi B. Rishabh B. Okay. I didn't expect so many of you to say B. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, Kinjal. Prashant B. Anuja C. All right. So a bird lives in a way, birds are kept in an aviary, right? What is an aviary? These large cages in which birds are kept. You must have seen them in zoos, right? So a bird is kept in those. The cow is not kept in fields. The cow can graze in fields. A cow usually belongs to a farm, right? So this relationship is not as similar as this one. Just like birds are kept in an aviary, horses are kept in stables, right? Horses are kept in a stable. So C is more closely related to our given word pair as compared to B. Okay, C is the answer here. No, not A. Sun is kept in the sky. We are talking about an organism being kept in a particular place, right? So A eliminated, D eliminated. These two were very easy. Okay. So the answer here is C. So I gave you 20 seconds for this. This was not a very difficult question type, not a very difficult question actually. Okay. Now let's come to the next one. Again, in my opinion, that's an easy question. 20 seconds for it. Let's see how you find it. Yes. All right. Stallion is to mare. That is given to us. Let's see what you all say. Who is a stallion? Who is a mare? We need to know that in order to answer this. Sheep is to lamb. So the young one of a sheep is a lamb. Bird is to egg. Bird lays eggs. So in analogy questions, it's important that we also know these relationships. Actually, these are a combination of vocabulary and logic. These questions are a combination of vocabulary and logic. Just knowing, let's say, a rough meaning of the words is not enough. You should also know how they are related to each other. Because on that basis, only in the first one, B was incorrect. Cow is to field was incorrect. Right? Okay, so I've got many A's here. C, D also. Okay. Amrit says D, Sonali D, Kinjal says C. Yes, the relationship is that of male and female. A male horse is a stallion, a female horse is a mare. Okay, a female horse is a mare. It's not the young, a mare is not the young one of a horse. The young one of a horse is called a foal. Okay, the young one of a horse is called a foal. The female of a horse is called a mare. Right? So, because of this, A is eliminated, B is eliminated, child is to girl, child is gender neutral, again eliminated, bull is the male, cow is the female, right? So again the male-female relationship, and that's why D is our answer, right? Good, good, you figured this out. So this was also about figuring out what was the relationship between these two pairs. So in analogy questions, that's important, right? That we know the relationship also. Okay. The third question, the third analogy question, let's see what you say here. Yes, start. Okay, let's see what you say here for this one. So, reprimand is to praise. Reprimand is to praise. To reprimand someone. Even if you do not know the exact meaning, I think all of you can recall that you may not have heard it in a positive context. So this is a negative word for sure, to reprimand someone. To praise is definitely positive. So these two words are not similar words. Yes? C, B, okay, A, all right. So I've got a lot of B's. One C, one A, all right, all right. Now, those who marked A, Swati, Prem, Aishwarya, why A? This actually, honestly, I included this question solely to make you realize that you need to read the question instructions very carefully. That's why I didn't utter a word about the instructions. Okay. I wanted you to realize this, that sometimes what happens is when we are attempting similar types of questions, we read the instruction for the first one, but then we just don't read it for the second question or the third question. This is what happens with students even in synonym antonym questions. Okay, so please don't do this. Okay, because they here it was clearly written that we had to find a dissimilar, the most dissimilar relationship, the most dissimilar relationship. Although such analogy questions are uncommon, okay, I have seen this just once in IIFT. Okay, but because such a question has appeared where you're, instead of being asked the most similar relationship, you are being asked the most dissimilar relationship, we should basically pay attention to our instructions, right? That what exactly is asked from us. right? So in synonym antonyms, pay attention to the instructions particularly, right? In such questions, pay attention. In grammar questions, see whether you have to mark the grammatically correct one or the grammatically incorrect one. So please pay attention to the instructions, right? The answer here is not reprimand is to praise has an antonymous relationship. So I will mark something that does not have an antonymous relationship. B would be the answer if I had to search for a similar relationship, right? So no. Walk is to talk. Okay. Flower, uh, the previous stage of a flower is a bud. Okay. Walking and talking, two activities. Deduct is to subtract. They are synonyms. They are as far apart from reprimand is to praise as anything could be, right? ये antonyms हैं, ये synonyms हैं. So of course, these are the most dissimilar. This is the most dissimilar. And that is why A is our answer. Deduct is to subtract, right? Reprimand is to scold someone. To reprimand someone is to scold, admonish, right? Chide. These are the synonyms of reprimand. And the opposite, of course, is praise. And here, deduct, subtract, synonyms. Right? So is the answer here. I was being a bit of a sadist in framing this question. I hope you understand who a sadist is, right? Sadistic is the adjective, a new word for you in case you don't know the meaning. So, a person who is a sadist derives pleasure by inflicting pain on others, right? Such a person is called a sadist. Okay, all right. So, good, you figured this out now, and let's see. Now, we're going to go to a different question type. So, here it is. Read the instructions, tell me the answer. 30 seconds. You have to give me the most appropriate antonym of the given word. Brusque. This is how we pronounce this word. Brusque. Brusque is an adjective, right? So students generally confuse it with brisk, right? Brisk walking. So brisk is a similar word, but they don't share their meanings, right? So what does this brusque mean? It's used for someone's behavior. It's for someone's way of talking, manner. When someone is very blunt, very offhanded, doesn't really care about other people's feelings, right? That is what brusque particularly means. Okay, so it's concerned with the way people speak, the way people behave. Okay, it's a word that originated in Italian, then came to French. So primarily, usually people call it a French word. It's a French word, brusque. This one, brusque is a French word. Okay, it means I can say that when somebody is brisk in their way of speaking, in their manner. Brisk again means when you are very abrupt, offhand. But this particularly has to do with your speech, your manner. That's the difference between the two words. I hope this is clear. So if you want to talk about someone's way of talking, way of behaving particularly, you will use the word brusque and not brisk, right? And the appropriate antonym is what I have to give here. So let's see what you have said. A, quite a few of you. Okay. Okay. Good, good, good. Very few of you are answering today. What has happened? So no negative marking here, right? I, okay, fine. If you want to score yourself, you can, but again, there's no negative marking. Okay, so even for the previous three questions, even if you got it wrong, don't give yourself any negative marks. Also, please respond. Okay, I want more participation. Even if it's a guess, a calculated guess from your side, just put it in the chat box. Right? So, chivalrous is the answer. You are absolutely correct. Okay. Blunt usually is used again for your way of talking. If your way of talking is pretty blunt, that means you tend to be rude, right? So you are saying, can I relate it with reckless? I can relate it with straightforward. uh, So you can, it's contextual. Maybe in a particular context, a person who's pretty straightforward tends to be reckless, but otherwise I can't say that they are synonyms. No, reckless and blunt, I can't say they're synonyms. Blunt has to do more with rudeness and straightforwardness. Okay, all right. So brusque is chivalrous. That is the answer. Now chivalrous, what does this mean? Chivalry. We talk about it, yes. So some people say chivalry is dead today. Yes. So it's typically when in the context that you may have heard it, it's associated with men. When men behave in a polite manner towards women, that is called chivalry. But chivalry has a general meaning also. When you are simply polite in your mannerisms, in your attitude towards others, that is when you are being chivalrous, polite and respectful. Right? So brusque, of course, the opposite has to be chivalrous. Captious. Who is a captious person? Captious. Okay. Terse is a synonym for brusque. Yes, terse is a synonym. Yes. Outspoken, yes, you could say Prem. Captious. That's my question. So remember last time we did this cap, cad, cas. They are associated with head, fall. So cap, head. Cap is associated with head. So what does captious mean? And does it have to do anything with heading? Hmm. Tell me. When someone raises, when someone raises meticulous for chivalrous. Meticulous is someone who likes to do everything in a very perfect manner, paying attention to even the small details. So meticulous is not a synonym for chivalrous. Captious, on the other hand, is someone who finds petty objections. Someone who there are people, who are always, they always have this fault finding, complaining approach. So such people are called captious, right? So this is about fault finding, about complaining, right? Famine. Yes, all of us have heard of famines. So famine, I think you would know the meaning. When सूखा पड़ जाता है जब, so because of droughts there can be famines. So it's a period of difficulty, and famines are man-made disasters because this scarcity of food that happens in a famine, be it the result of a drought, be it the result of a flood, right? This is again because of human activities. Usually we say that this is a result of natural phenomena, but it's the human activity, the havoc that we are laying on our climate. It is the result of those, right? So famines, scarcity of food because of any disaster, right? That is famine. Okay. So burly, what's the meaning of burly? So contain, spacious, that was capacious, Amrit, not captious. Capacious. Capacious was spacious. Okay. Captious, actually, head and heading. Uh, the heading of something, right? In the sense, let's say I give a heading for this question, antonym. So heading is also related to it. So caption, the word caption is also related to it. Okay, so from caption comes captious, and there's a very indirect relationship here. Okay, so when I don't know it's in what sense they related it to caption, but if you look at the etymology of the word, no, it is related to caption. So probably these petty objections that you raise are your captions there. That's why captious is related, right? So it's a very indirect relationship. Burly, yes, someone who is large, strong. Okay, what's the difference between burly and surly? Surly. Burly, you've understood, large and strong. What is surly? Common confusables. So burly is somebody who's strong, heavily built. Surly, on the other hand, is a negative word. Okay, it means someone who's very bad tempered, someone who's unfriendly. That person is a surly person, or that behavior is a surly behavior. So bad tempered and unfriendly. Okay, so what all words have we learned from this one question? One, brusque, which means very abrupt, very rude, chivalrous, polite, respectful, captious, fault finding, making petty objections, famine. I think we already knew the meaning. Extreme scarcity of food because of XYZ reasons, usually droughts, etc. Burly, heavily built. Surly, bad tempered. Okay, so A is our answer here, and just one word can teach us so much, right? One question can teach us so much. Let's come to the next question. I hope all of this is clear. All right, all right. Yes, I'm reading all your comments in the chat box. Just that when the timer is running, I can't come to the chat box at that very point. Okay. Otherwise, I'm reading all your comments. Yes, the Bengal famine, famous, the famous famine of all times. Yes. Okay. Let's come to the next question. Again, an antonym question. Let me see what you say here. Flay. Negative word. I mean, it produces negative images in my mind. To flay someone. It's a verb. To flay someone. Right. Sheath is the opposite. Okay. Some of you saying that. Amrit says D. Sanil says D. Krishna says B. Okay. So flay is to de-skin, to remove the skin of usually animals are de-skinned before consumption. That is to flay, right? So to remove the skin of a corpse, a carcass, um, for whatever purpose, that is called flaying. And peeling, isn't it similar? When you peel again, you remove the skin. Upbraid is to scold. Upbraid, upbraid, reprimand, admonish, scold, chide, synonyms. Okay. In fact, it also means to criticize severely. So, what kind of scolding? When you say, you should not have done it and now you've done it. So, I'm scolding you and criticizing you severely at the same time, right? So, that is upbraid. Scalp, all of us understand what is scalp. Now, sheath means to protect. To sheath someone is to protect someone. Sheaths are these weapons, no, that people use in a war to protect them. So that's a sheath. So to sheath means to protect. D is the answer. Yes, antonym question. That is why D. Okay, in synonym antonyms, be careful, particularly. Okay, okay. All right, all right. So I hope the words that we've done so far, you are grasping their meanings. You can note them down somewhere, right? So that later on you can revise these, because revision is very important. Okay. So the words that we've done so far, some of these were pretty easy. Now I think you realize that, and some gave us a number of words, right? Okay, so here's a fill in the blank. Now, in this fill in the blank, you have to decide between two words primarily. It's a common confusables question, right? Fill in the blank with the most appropriate homonyms. So, which gorilla fits here? Let's see. Okay, so doesn't reprimand mean to argue? No, reprimand is to, when you reprimand someone, you scold them, right? So, basically, you disapprove of something that they've done. You rebuke them. So, reprimand means to scold, to rebuke, to criticize, to reproach, uh, not really to argue with someone, right? Then let me see, there is another query also. Just a second. Myelin sheath is to protect our neurons. Okay, okay. This is information for me as well. Right. So now the difference between sheath with an E and sheath without an E. What is that? Yes. Sheath with an E and sheath without an E. Yes, tell me. So with an E, you basically put a weapon into the container. The container is called sheath. SHEATH. Right. So when you put it into that container, then you sheath your weapon. And what is sheath? A protective covering, isn't it? So here, just a second, here, I am sorry, this is my bad. This as a verb, this is a noun. Okay, and the one with SHEATHE, when we say that, that is a verb. Okay, that is a verb. So here, this sheath means again a protective covering. A protective covering. And again, this should be the answer, right? Because it is meant to protect. And to sheath someone in a metaphorical sense would be to protect someone. To protect someone. In the literal sense, it means to cover your weapon, to encase your weapon in its encasement, right? So that's the difference, okay? SHEATHE is the verb and TH is the noun. Good, Pranav. Well pointed out. Okay. So breath and breathe. Okay. Correct, correct. You can actually remember it like this. We've got a good association here. Just like breath is the noun and breathe is the verb. Similarly, they also have the same relationship. Good. Okay, so I have got B and A's mostly. Let's see, let's see. All right, all right. So the answer here is A. Okay, I think you must have heard of guerrilla warfare, guerrilla tactics, right? You must have heard of ambush. So what happens in it? See, when I talk about guerrilla warfare, basically, uh, not a full, the people who indulge in a guerrilla warfare, they are not your full-fledged army, your military. These are usually people who are not usually trained for a war. They could be civilians, they could be paramilitary forces. So okay, they are trained a bit, right? Paramilitary forces. So these are small groups whom you don't expect, to actually indulge in a warfare. And what are the tactics that are employed? Surprise tactics. So for instance, ambush. You conceal yourself, you camouflage yourself, and then you wait for the enemy and suddenly attack. So ambush. Then there are a couple of other tactics also, but these are a part of guerrilla warfare. So now the guerrilla incident. So definitely I am not talking about the ape gorilla here. I am talking about this warfare here, right? So A is the answer. Okay, B simply means the ape gorilla, right? That we know about. So these are two commonly confused words. They are in fact homonyms, meaning they have they are homophones actually. Homophones. They have the same pronunciation. Same pronunciation. Okay, their spellings are different, but they share the same pronunciation. Clear? A is the answer. I hope all of you are with me here. Paramilitary, correct, correct, correct. Guerrilla marketing, very good. Yes, guerrilla marketing. We indulge in that when we want to surprise our consumer. Basically, using the element of surprise to attract your consumer. Correct, correct. Unprecedented, unexpected. Unprecedented means something that has never happened before. No, such a thing could have happened before, but then it takes you by surprise. Okay. Uh, is there a word called ABID, abid? There is bid and there is abide. Okay, so I don't think there is a word abid. Okay, all right. So the answer here is A. This was a homophone. Let's come to our next question. Again, you have two homophones here, right? Let's see what you say. Shops should be furnished with a rack for fodder, a rack or box for grain, and a water dash container. Okay. In fact, the word container was not even required here. So, the answer should be A. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, Vishal. All right, all right. Bache, Jack and Jill went up to the hill to fetch a pail of water. Which pail of water did they go to bring to fetch a pail of water? Yes, the nursery rhyme. Do you remember reading it? So, pail, P-A-I-L, pail is required here. Okay, pail of water. Pail means a bucket. So, that is what is required here. A bucket of water. So, that's why I said that, container is not even required. Container is not even required. So, B is the answer. Both A and B know. This pale complexion. You look pale. Is everything okay? We say this, right? You look pale. She looked pale. So, when your face, your skin has lighter color than usual. Usually used for your face. She had a pale face. That means probably she was worried about something, or probably she was sick. A lighter complexion than usual. That's the idea. Okay. All right, then B is the answer. Two common confusables. These also appear in your exams at intervals. So I've seen these in XAT. Okay, I have also seen these in IFT. So they do appear in various exams. Now, again a fill in the blank question, because this is a longer question. That's why 40 seconds. Start. Let's see what you say. Contextual vocabulary entirely. Okay, so here this question, correct Vishal, correct. Okay, so this question here, the words are not very difficult, isn't it? Yes, nurture, churn, you've heard these words. However, we still can get confused between two options. Which are those two options? Two close options here, two options that you found to be close. I think A and B were easy to reject. Yes, the choice is between C and D. The choice is between C and D. Now, what is operational? What is the meaning of the word operational? The plant is currently not operational, if I say that. That means it's not functioning, it's not working. So operational means something that is in a working condition, right? Relevant parameters. Now, C and D, okay? Some of you are saying C and D. The answer is C, not D. The answer is not D. I'll tell you why. The company has said, you had to understand this context here. That's why I gave you 40 seconds. The company has said in its statement that the launch of a project related to the metaverse needs to first validate, okay, confirm all dash parameters. So we will launch this project once we have validated all the relevant parameters, relevant criteria. Operational criteria, this would be used more for, let's say, a machine in a factory. So basically working or not working. And also the dash of the system, and also whether such a project is required or not. Also the significance, how important the significance of the system before it can get underway. So C is our answer and not D. Okay, so the launch of a project related to metaverse needs to first validate all the relevant parameters and also the significance of the system, whether it is important or not. So because of the first blank, we choose C over D. Okay, reliability and significance actually both make sense in the second blank. In the first one, relevant makes more sense. I hope this makes sense to you. If not, then please ask. Two words, I think one of them could be new for you, or maybe you know the meaning of both of these. Referendum. I think anybody who has read even a bit about Brexit must have come across this word referendum. So, when you ask the citizens of a particular country, when you ask the electorate to take a decision, to take a direct decision on a political matter, that is called a referendum. So, you refer an important matter directly to the electorate, directly to the people for making a decision. That is a referendum. Recalibrate. Recalibrate. To calibrate something again. To calibrate something again, that is recalibrate. And calibrate, we did this. We've done this in a previous session. What does this mean? To assess, to evaluate, to adjust, right? So that is to calibrate. So recalibrate is to assess, reassess, to adjust. This is a verb. This anyway could not fit here because I needed a noun here. Okay, similarly, this is a noun. This could not fit here because I needed an adjective. On a grammar basis, even this could not fit here. This is a verb. I need an adjective. Okay, so even grammar can sometimes help you in such questions. All right. So I hope this is clear to everybody. This was a contextual vocabulary question in fill in the blanks. Now we come to another type of analogy question. Okay, so here there need to be two pairs. Okay, but the one element of the second pair is missing. Right, so you have to complete the analogy. So complete this analogy. Sagacious is to sapient. Then just like that, acrimonious is to question mark. 40 seconds. Sagacious is to sapient. Acrimonious is to dash. Okay, so who is a sagacious person? We have done this earlier. It's a high frequency word. You should know its meaning. Those who've done word par, I think, would know the meaning of this word. It brings so many other words to my mind. Sagacious, precocious. Then I think we did callow in a previous class. Yes, we did juvenile in a previous class. So all these words come to my mind when I think of this word sagacious. I have got a number of responses, B or D, B or D. Okay, you can actually associate this word with sage. Just associate it with that, it becomes easy to remember. So somebody who is wise, usually because of their age and experience, that person is a sagacious person. So Dumbledore was a sagacious man, right? Wise because of their experience and age. Precocious is an idea. Precocious children. Who are precocious children? Those children who are wise beyond their age. So when somebody is wise beyond his or her age, that is when you use precocious for them. Okay, usually used for children. Callow is somebody who is young and inexperienced. This callow employee, let's say, young and inexperienced. You can associate it with immature also. Can associate it with immature also. And because you can associate it with immature also, that's why juvenile. Juvenile again means somebody who's very childish and immature. So this is how all these words came to my mind. They're related to age. They have something to do with age. Sagacious, wise because of age and experience. Precocious, wise beyond his or her age. Callow, young. So because of your age, you are inexperienced. Juvenile, again, you are immature, childish. Okay. So now, Sapient Technologies. It's a company, right? So Sapient, why would they name their company Sapient? Yes, because it would mean something good. So, Homo sapiens, we are so self-obsessed people. We think we are a wise species. That's why Homo sapiens is called Homo sapiens. Sapient means somebody who's wise. Okay. Again, or somebody who at least tries to be wise. Tries to be wise. That's the idea. So, because of that, Homo sapiens is called Homo sapiens because we like to think of ourselves as a wise species. Okay. All right. So both mean wise, both mean intelligent. अब मुझे इतना पता चल गया that ये दोनों हैं synonyms. ठीक है. So I need something that is synonymous to acrimonious. Acrimony. Acrimony is hostility, disagreement. Acrimonious, somebody who picks up disagreements and somebody who's ready to fight, belligerent. That person is acrimonious. Acrimonious can also mean somebody who holds bitterness or resentment towards someone, right? So the most appropriate fit here, is B Bangalore, not D Delhi. B Bangalore and not B Delhi. I understand that this is what you narrowed down to, but repugnant means disgusting. It means repulsive. So acrimonious does not mean disgusting or repulsive. It simply means holding bitterness towards someone. Rancorous. Rancorous, if somebody is a rancorous person, if you call them rancorous, if you say they hold feelings of rancor towards so and so person, that means they hold bitterness, resentment. Okay, I hope this is clear to all of you. Angry and bitter, acrimonious, bitter, rancorous, troublesome, we know. Virtuoso, virtuoso is somebody who's highly experienced and skilled in their field. Okay, that is virtuoso. ठीक है? All right. Okay, good that you are contributing in the chat box. I'm reading all your messages. In case you have any queries, you can ask. In case I miss any of your message related to queries, you can ask again. Okay, no issues there. Okay, so now complete another analogy. We've learned quite a few words through this. Let's see if we learn the same from the others. Right, complete this. Easy question in my experience. Symposium is to conference, lecture is to dash. Easy words. No word is difficult. Just like a symposium is a conference, a lecture is a dash. Is it a dissertation? Is it a diploma? Is it a sermon? Or is it a dilemma? Let's see. I expect a lot more response. No, but you deride, Yogiraj, deride is to mock someone, to ridicule someone. When you mock someone, ridicule them, that is when you deride them. Okay, that act is called an act of derision. Acrimonious is being angry and bitter. So if you deride someone, they might become acrimonious towards you. Okay, that may happen. So A is the answer, absolutely correct. Okay, good. Sermon. So a lecture can be compared to a sermon. Yeah, so I am sermonizing here, right? These are related words, okay? A lecture isn't exactly a sermon. Sermons usually are religious, spiritual in nature, okay? Philosophical in nature. Lectures, on the other hand, tend to be more academic. So these are related words. Symposium is to conference. Yes, symposiums, they happen to be conferences. Yes, usually conferences that go on for multiple days, they happen to be symposiums, right? Okay. Now, let's see this one. Again, you have to complete the analogy. Again, 40 seconds. All of these are high frequency words, so shouldn't be a problem. Let's see. Opulent is to impecunious, and the same relationship will be shared by parsimonious is to dash. Opulent is to impecunious, so parsimonious is to dash. Yes. What is your response? What is your answer? A. Okay, all of you say A. Very good. That means you are aware of these high frequency words. Good. Opulent. If I say an opulent display of their wealth. Shoshabaji, right? Ostentatious. Ostentatious. An ostentatious display of wealth is opulence, right? It also means wealthy. It also means wealthy, right? Impecunious. Impecunious. So see, the root word technique helps us a lot. Okay. How many direct vocabulary questions? Kashish, that varies from year to year. Okay. So I can't say that these many direct will come. But yes, you can expect 4 to 5 at least. At least 4 to 5 direct questions. Okay. Uh, Opulent is to impecunious. Now, im means not. It's a negative prefix. Pecus means, actually, it means cattle. And OUS has been used here. OUS has been used here to make it an adjective. So earlier, a person's cattle in an agrarian economy, a person's cattle is their measure of wealth. Okay, how many cattle, how many cows, bulls, etc., they have, that is a measure of their wealth. So not having cattle was same as not having money. So impecunious actually means penniless, not having money, poor. So opulent is to impecunious, opposites. You're absolutely right. Parsimonious is to profligate. Parsimonious, I think सबको पता होगा. Miserly person is parsimonious. Yes, correct, Yogiraj. Pecuniary advantage. Yes, we talk about pecuniary advantage or pecuniary interest. That means monetary. Pecuniary is monetary. So again, see, something that meant cattle came to mean money later on. Pecuniary is monetary. Parsimonious, somebody who's stingy, somebody who's miserly, penny pinching, okay, close fisted. So many synonyms. And the opposite is a profligate person who's very wasteful in the use of their money, resources, etc. That person is a profligate person. Both adjectives. All of these are adjectives, in fact. Okay. So A is the answer. And in case you've read WordPad Made Easy, you would be aware of all of these words. Okay. Penury is poverty. Correct. Frugal is a related word. Frugal is a relative word. Somebody who has limited needs, somebody who lives with limited means, right, is very careful with the use of their money. Correct. Adrift, if something is drifting away, it is adrift. Okay, something is floating, drifting away. Okay, that is adrift. Okay. Adroit, skillful. Adroit means skillful. An adroit player, let's say. An adroit worker. So particularly it was used for the use of hands earlier, but now it simply means skillful, adroit. Recluse. A recluse is a person who doesn't like to meet a lot of people, right? Reclusive is the adjective. बहुत नहीं पसंद उसको मिलना लोगों से. Right, that person is a recluse. Okay, so many words. Yes, we've learned so far. So I just want to ask you, I hope that all of you have assimilated these words. The idea is not just to learn them, the idea is to remember them, okay, and to use them, to recall them when the time comes in the exam, or when you, let's say, sit to write something, when you sit for a conversation, for an interview. The idea is that these words should become a part of you. Okay, so that's why we are doing this. I hope you are enjoying them. Okay, so for instance, stallion is to mare. A lot of you made the mistake of thinking that it is the young one, but it's the male-female relationship that exists here. Right? We've learned so many words for scolding. So the next time you scold someone or you are scolded by someone, don't say that my mom scolded me. Say she admonished me, she reprimanded me, she chided me. So use these words. Okay. Then chivalrous, I think you were aware of. So this was not new. Brusque. right? Confuse people by using brusque. They might think that you are using the wrong word. You should instead use brisk. But no, brusque is a word. It's a legit word, right? To flay. Oh, this is a repugnant word for me. Okay. A disgusting word to actually de-skin someone. Guerrilla warfare, very relevant. Guerrilla marketing, very relevant for you as somebody who's preparing for an MBA. Okay, pail. See how nursery rhymes can beat us? Somebody wrote that. To fetch a pail of water. Then recalibrate, to reassess something. Yes, to adjust something. Sagacious, sapient, acrimonious, rancorous, and other words that were there in this question. So, very comprehensive question, this one, in that respect. Sermon and ceremony, they are not related as such. Somebody asked this earlier in the chat box. Right? Again, so many words we learned through this. A recluse, somebody who does not like to meet people. Right? So, in case someday you're not in the mood of meeting people, you can say, oh, I am a recluse. I don't like meeting people anyway. Right? So I hope you've enjoyed the session so far. We have a lot more. Okay, don't worry, we have a lot more. You have to be there with me for the next I think 30-40 minutes we'll be together, right? No, it wasn't an amazing session. I'm just recapitulating all that we have done so far. Okay, that's it. We have a lot more to go. Okay. Wow, that's amazing, Sanil. So good to know this. Hi Pooja, let's attempt this question. Choose the odd one out. Yes. 10 seconds. Very easy. This is a general knowledge question. I included this because a lot of times such questions appear in your exam in vocabulary. Now, it's actually more about your GK than your vocabulary. Right? Albatross, kiwi, owl, python. Not difficult vocabulary words, but it's important, that you know their meanings, isn't it? अभी पिक्चर बाकी है इसका आंसर बताओ मैं बीच में डालूंगी नहीं लाइक वाली स्लाइड ना whenever I put it in between students think that the session is over whenever I revise something students think the session is over I was just revising okay BD kiwi why kiwi those who are saying kiwi why that acha you were thinking of it as a fruit isn't kiwi a bird also so all these three are birds albatross kiwi owl python is a snake that is the odd one out here. Okay, python is a snake. D Delhi is the answer. Alright, so general knowledge question, not really a vocabulary question. Let's come back to our vocabulary questions. Similar in meaning to the given word, moribund. Yes. Brusque you already know the meaning of. Lively is not even a vocabulary word. Obsolescent, I think again you know. Lucid, you should know. So, let's see what you say here. Moribund. She was in a moribund state when I met her at the hospital. This mall is currently in a moribund state. This mall is currently in a moribund state. Yes, Sonali, correct. D was the answer. So, Om, A for this one. Okay. Ruchi says D. Vishal says C. Dharmi D. More. When we have this word more, no, so see morgue. A morgue. Morbid. Mortality. This more is associated with death. So when I call something moribund, that means something that's on the verge of death. Something that's in a very bad condition. In a state of decline. That is moribund. So which one would fit here then? You have to mark a similar word. So yes, I've got quite a few C's now. Anmol, Ash, Amrit, Swati, Sonali, Vicky. All of you are saying C. Absolutely correct. C is the answer. Something that is obsolescent, again on the verge of decline, on the verge of becoming obsolete. Scent, this scent is used when you are on the verge of becoming something. Who is an adolescent? Somebody who's on the verge of becoming an adult, right? On the verge of becoming obsolete, right? Lucid, something that's very clear in expression. It's used for your speech, for your writing. Okay, clear. That is lucid. Okay, so moribund is obsolescent, and that is our answer here. Brusque is offhand and abrupt. Lucid is clear in expression. Okay, obsolete can be related to this. Yes, 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 yes. Where to learn vocabulary words from, Sujit? From these sessions. And apart from these sessions, I've already suggested WordPal Made Easy to you. Okay, I think I should get a tattoo named WordPal Made Easy. I should just show it to students whenever they ask me what is the one good source of vocabulary. So this is there. Attempt this, complete this, and then I'll tell you more sources. There is no dearth of sources. Okay. All right. Opposite in meaning to the given word. Furtive. The lovers gave furtive glances to each other. Or she gave a furtive glance to her crush. That's the context in which I have heard it. So that's why I'm giving you these examples. He threw a furtive glance at his enemy in the party. Welcome, Amrit. B. Okay. Incognito. Opposite. Bacha, you have to give me the opposite. Read the instructions carefully. Read the instructions carefully. Okay. Still, I'm getting a lot of B's. It's like you're not listening to me. Okay, okay. Probably you think that you genuinely think that incognito is the opposite of furtive, but if you throw furtive glances at something, no, you throw a secret glance actually. You don't want to be noticed because you think that if they notice you, you might be in trouble. So that is called throwing furtive glances. Or furtive means something that is done secretly because you feel that that discovery might actually lead to trouble. So furtive, if this means secret, incognito also means when you put your identity in disguise, when you disguise your identity. So even this cannot be the answer. Sly, again a very clever, deceptive. Uh, if let's say I associate it with someone's glance also, so it's very clever, cunning, deceptive. So that is what sly means. So no, it's not the opposite of furtive. Eerie, something that causes that makes you feel very strange, eerie, because it, let's say, makes you uneasy, makes you fearful of something. So something that's strange because it arouses fear or unease, right? That is eerie. So even this can't be the answer. The answer is D, Delhi. Good, those who mark D. So Nali, nothing to be sad about. Your answer is correct. Okay? So D is the answer. Yes. Okay. Forthright. Forthright is, you are pretty straightforward. You're no longer doing something in secret. Right? Okay. Similar word. Imbue. Imbue. So this is a verb, imbue. Let's see what you say. Similar in meaning. Eerie, yes. Strange. Correct. Correct, Sanil. Speaking directly and clearly. Select the word similar in meaning to the given word. So Sanil, if you're noting down, how many new words have you learned so far? So far in this session, how many new words have we learned? Okay, C, B, all right, all right. Capitulate. Capitulate. It's a verb. So, although capitulate and recapitulate, they look similar, they have different meanings. The recap in a web series, yes, the recap that, let's say, a series shows, that is actually a short form of recapitulation. It's a short, it's a contraction, that's what I should say, of recapitulation. Right? So recapitulate is simply to state something in brief, to summarize by just telling the important points. But capitulate means when you just surrender, when you stop objecting to something, okay, to surrender, to yield, that is to capitulate. To yield. Both of them come from cap again. Kaput is actually the root word if you want to know the exact root word, which means the head. So recapitulate, just giving the headings, right? Capitulate here means that, you just bow down your head before someone. That is to capitulate. So is this related to imbue? The painting was imbued with colors. The painting was imbued with colors. If I say, that means there were colors, the colors permeated, that painting, right? They spread through, in a way they were spread through that painting. So imbue is to permeate. Imbue is to permeate, to spread through. Okay. The let's say if you go to a spiritual place, it was imbued with a sense of calm, filled with, permeated with, right? So that is the word that is similar in meaning. C. Profanity, we have done this earlier and I think it's not a very difficult word. She uttered a number of profanities in anger. Abusive words. Profanities, abusive words. Yes? Okay. Wallow. I wallowed in the luxury of the hotel. After a long time, I wallowed in the luxury of that hotel. So wallow is to simply capitulate, means to, yes, accept that, yes, you surrender, you accept that you've lost. You no longer object to things. So I indulged in the luxury of the hotel. I indulged in the luxury of the hotel. So imbue, profanity, all these different words, and all of these I think are vocabulary words for you. Particularly, okay, if not permeate, 3 new words I think you've learned from this question. Right, so we've already done 50-55. Great. Let's just add some more, a couple of migratory words particularly, and a couple of one-word substitution, and then we are done for the day. Okay, so just 5-10 more minutes. Let's finish this. Select what exactly defines anything that makes one feel encouraged, stimulated. What should be the word for it? In 30 seconds, tell me. Adjoin, intention, lithe, Philip. Adjoin. 2 adjoining buildings. So I think A, everybody can reject. Profanity, using bad words. Correct, correct. A, everybody must have rejected. Adjoin. It's simply when, 2 things share their boundaries, 2 things share something, that's adjoining. So no. Intention. Anything that makes one feel encouraged. Is that person's intention? No. Between C and D. Okay, okay. I'm getting more of D's. Very good. D. Something that acts as a boost. A fillip is a boost. Right? So for instance, the new technology acted as a fillip to the sales of that product. The new technology acted as a fillip, boost to the sales of that product. Right? Lithe. Okay, yesterday was International Yoga Day. So yoga instructors have a lithe body. Flexible. They have a flexible body, lithe body. Right? So you can remember it associated with yoga, lithe. Philip, lithe, those were the two new words. Yes, one word substitution, a personal property that can be relocated. Okay, a personal possession we're talking about. What word describes it? One word substitution. Period everybody can reject. Purview. Purview. The R is very soft. Purview. Yes. If I say, this option is not in the purview of our passage. You must have seen this as a solution, as the explanation for a number of questions that you attempt. This option falls outside the purview of this passage. What is written in this option falls outside the purview, outside the scope of this passage. Okay, so it comes to C and D again. C and D. These are the two new words for you. In case you read newspapers regularly, you would know the meaning of chattel. Used in property cases, and not just cases for, let's say, possession, for inheritance. They are also used in some gender related cases, wherein we are talking about the relationship of a husband and a wife, right? So chattel means personal possession. This is the answer. And I have often heard it in this context that the judge says that a man cannot treat a woman as his chattel. A man cannot treat a woman as his chattel, right? So personal possession, right? Abut is a verb actually. Abut. So to if I say my garden abuts his lawn, right? That means adjoins. It simply is a fancy formal word for adjoin. Right? Answer is C. You are right. Answer is C. And a lot of you said C. Good. All right. So yes, please do this, that whenever you are able to eliminate as much as you can. Right. So for instance, here adjoin and intention easily eliminable. Now, when it comes to C and D, I again recall that I have heard lithe in such a context when we talk about people's bodies, let's say lithe body. So this cannot be really related to lithe. So D has to be the answer. So this is how you can eliminate, right? Okay, very easy question. I just wanted to teach you to some terms here. That's why this. Tell me this in 10 seconds. A stock or any other security representing ownership. Anyone with a very basic knowledge of accountancy, finance can tell me this. Equality is definitely not the answer. Equanimity. All of these have this equal wala sense, right? So, equity is the answer. You are absolutely right. Those who are saying C, correct. Okay. Let's look at the other terms. Because of these, I made this question. So, equanimity and inequity. Both have a sense of equal. Equanimity is, we have done this word earlier. If I break this, anim relates to heart and mind. Heart, mind, soul, basically these things. Equal. When you're a very even-minded person, when you're a very calm person, that's when I say that you are equanimous or you possess equanimity. Calmness. Okay. Inequity. Doing something sinful. Inequity means a sin. When you do something that is sinful, that is inequity. And this is not EQU wala. This is IQU. There's a difference. Okay. There's a difference between the words inequity and inequity. Inequitable distribution of resources means that they have not been distributed in proportion to the need, let's say. Inequity, on the other hand, is a moral thing, sinful. Right? Just a power outage, don't worry. It'll be back in a couple of seconds. It's been really rainy since yesterday, so there's been a lot of power outage. Choose the correct meaning of this migratory word right in front of you. Dio volente. Dio volente. Yes, having a balanced mind. Iniquity, sin, wickedness. Correct, correct. Dio volente. You have to choose the meaning and the root word technique. In case you've read word par thoroughly, it will help you here. Let's see what you say for this. It's a Latin term, Dio volente. Okay. And let me see what you say. A is what you say. Okay. Okay. Others. All right. All right. Good. Good that you are sure of A. So volos. Volos means will. Volos means will. Something that you may have come across in word par. Yes. Volunteer. When you volunteer for something, you do it out of your own will. No, voluntary act. Something that you perform out of your own will. When you say you are ambivalent about something. Ambivalent. No, wait. This is feeling, having mixed feelings. No, I think ambivalent is different. Voluntary is related to volos, which means will. Yes, voluntary. So, because it means will, God willing. God willing. So, Dio means God. Dio means God. Okay. Even in the word adios, when we say adios, when we say bye to someone, this Dio is actually God only. So, yes, Dio and Deus is God in Latin. So, why do we talk about God when we say goodbye? Actually, goodbye was not always this one word. It is a contraction of may God be with you. May God be with you. Okay, so people earlier used to say God be with ye. God be with ye instead of you. This may was skipped. So God be with ye was then contracted to goodbye. Good be ye. Goodbye. Right? So Dio, Deus means God, right? And volente is willing. So God willing. Ambivalent. Yes, ambivalent is when you have mixed feelings about something. I was just trying to figure out its root there. If let's say ambi is both, valence comes from equivalent. I'll just tell you what is the root there, right? I'll tell you. Okay. Meanwhile, you tell me what's the meaning of vox populi. Vox populi. Yes. Let's see what you say. D, Delhi. Okay. Volition was the word that I was looking for at that time. Yes. And instead I said ambivalent. When you do something of your own volition, you do it out of your own will. Volition means will. Ambivalent. Here this val actually comes from an old root val, which means strength. When you both your feelings are strong, okay, you're being pulled apart. That's when you're ambivalent about something. That's the idea. Okay, clear now, right? Now, vox populi, voice of the people. Absolutely correct, Amrit. Right? So, D is public opinion. Yes, public opinion. That is the answer. So, voice of the people. You have these vox pop shows, right? Vox pop shows. So, MTV, VTV, they started this culture in India wherein their VJs, they would go and they would interview people, the common people. They will talk to common people about various issues. So these are vox pop shows, taking the public opinion, the voice of the people. Again, a Latin term, vox populi, right? So I hope this is clear. Dio, volente, vox populi. You should be aware of some migratory words. They have been asked in exams such as IIFT particularly, right? IIFT is big on asking you difficult and different vocabulary questions. Okay. Coming to our next. Acha, no, okay. This was it. This is about migratory words. I told you we'll do some migratory words and some one-word substitution. We've done both, right? I hope these questions helped you. Similar words, different words or antonymous words, odd one out, right? We've done all of these, right? Any query, ask me. Any word whose meaning is not clear, how to use it is not clear, its part of speech is not clear. We should know all these things. You can ask me that. I'm showing these slides to you just for revisionary purposes, right? One word substitution and migratory words towards the end. Okay then. So this was it from my side for today. I hope you liked the session. If you did, then please go and press the like button. I also hope that we have learned approximately 60-65 new words today instead of 50 as promised. Right? Do revise these words. Okay, otherwise you'll forget them. Yeah, so otherwise there's no point. Okay, so you know about our comprehensive CAT and other exams program. These are the details. And yes, you can stay connected with us using this Telegram channel. Right? I'll see you again tomorrow at 12. Thank you so much, Vicky. That's a really great compliment. Brusque again. Yes, yes. So brusque is an adjective, right? It means somebody who is rude. If I have to put it in one word, it's somebody who's rude or abrupt. Rude or abrupt in their behavior, in their manner. Okay. I dislike talking to her because of her brusque mannerisms. Okay. Her brusque reply left him fuming. Okay, so he couldn't say anything in return, but he was left fuming, angry. So brusque means rude or abrupt, right? Okay. What is dragooned? Yes, dragooned. Is it related to dragon? Dragooned. So English has some really interesting words, and dragooned is one of them. When you dragoon someone, you actually force them to do something, right? You pressurize them. So, for instance, if I say, I was dragooned into doing this, I didn't really mean to do this. I was dragooned into doing this. That means I was forced into doing this. I didn't want to do it. So, an interesting word, dragoon, right? It comes from dragon. Basically, the this dragon who breathes fire is thought of as something that is intimidating. So this intimidation, this pressure came to the word dragoon, right? Moribund. Okay, okay. No, moribund is related to, just associate it with death, decline. You too have a great day. Okay, Sanil, I'll give this a thought. Interesting suggestion from your end. I'll give this a thought. All right. Welcome all of you. Bye. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye bye.